For nearly a generation, social media cultivated a culture of financial performance. The perfectly staged vacation, the luxury item casually dropped into a story, the dinner at a restaurant you can't actually afford, all of it was designed to project an image of effortless affluence. An image that had zero relationship to the reality of credit card balances, student loan payments, and rent checks consuming the vast majority of the paycheck behind the scenes. Fake it till you make it wasn't just a motivational mantra. It was a financial lifestyle strategy, and it was quietly driving people toward bankruptcy every single day. But now, a new movement is taking center stage: loud budgeting. It is the deliberate, vocal, and unapologetic practice of being honest about your financial limits. Instead of making excuses or inventing fake conflicts to avoid expensive social situations, loud budgeters simply say, with confidence, "I'm not spending money on that right now." No apology, no elaborate fiction, no performative suffering. Just a clean, clear statement of financial intentionality. It sounds simple, and it is, but its psychological and practical implications are profound. Where did loud budgeting come from? Like most cultural phenomena of the past 5 years, loud budgeting was born on TikTok. The term is widely attributed to comedian Lucas Battle, who articulated the concept in late 2023 by calling it the new green flag. His video racked up millions of views almost instantly. While the term may have been coined in a single video, the underlying sentiment had been building for years. Specific economic conditions have made financial pretending increasingly impossible, especially for younger generations. Millennials and Gen Z have faced a punishing economic environment: stagnant real wages, sky-high housing costs, and student debt loads that earlier generations could not have imagined. All of this, paired with an inflation episode that quietly eroded purchasing power just as they were trying to establish themselves. Against this backdrop, the social expectation to spend freely on luxury experiences and branded products became more than just unrealistic. It became infuriating. Loud budgeting is a revolt against that expectation and the social media ecosystem that built it. The psychology behind the movement. To understand why loud budgeting resonates so deeply, you have to understand the psychological damage caused by financial silence. Money is one of the biggest taboos in many cultures. This is especially true in Western societies, where discussing your salary, your debt, or your spending limits is considered rude or even mortifying. This taboo has a heavy price. It prevents people from having honest conversations about what they can afford, leads to social decisions driven by peer pressure rather than reality, and creates a pervasive sense of isolation. That feeling that everyone else is managing fine, and I'm the only one struggling. Behavioral finance research shows that social comparison is one of the most powerful and often negative drivers of financial decision-making. Keeping up with the Joneses isn't just a metaphor. It's a documented psychological pattern that causes people to spend beyond their means to maintain a perceived social status. Loud budgeting breaks this cycle by normalizing financial limits. When one person in a friend group openly says, "I'm not doing the expensive dinner this week, let's find something cheaper," it gives everyone else permission to feel the same way. It's the social contagion effect in reverse. Instead of spreading overconsumption, it spreads financial sanity. Loud budgeting versus other money trends. What makes it different? To understand why loud budgeting is so unique, it helps to distinguish it from its neighbors. The FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, shares the emphasis on intentional spending. But FIRE is fundamentally a long-term wealth strategy that demands years of extreme frugality. While disciplined, it can sometimes turn into a performance of austerity that is just as intense as the consumerism it rejects. Then there is quiet luxury, the aesthetic movement prioritizing understated, high-quality consumption over flashy brands. Culturally, this is the exact opposite of loud budgeting. Quiet luxury says, I spend money, I just do it tastefully. Loud budgeting says, I might not be spending at all and I'm fine with that. The former is still rooted in consumption as identity. The latter explicitly separates who you are from what you spend. Finally, frugalism has often carried a moralistic tone that turns off mainstream audiences. Loud budgeting, by contrast, is deliberately non-judgmental. It's not a prescription for everyone else. It's about your choices. How to practice. Loud budgeting. Practical strategies. The practical side of loud budgeting starts with a simple but often difficult step: being honest with yourself about what you can actually afford. This means building a realistic monthly budget, not an aspirational one. You have to account for every recurring expense, savings goal, and discretionary category. Tools like YNAB, Copilot, or even a simple spreadsheet can make this process real. Writing down your actual numbers is the first act of loud budgeting, directed at yourself. Next comes the social component, which is where most people hesitate. When a friend proposes an activity that exceeds your budget, the loud budgeting approach is to respond honestly and immediately. Instead of agreeing and suffering in silence or manufacturing an excuse, just say, "That's outside my budget right now. Can we do something more affordable instead?" The first few times feel uncomfortable. By the 10th time, it becomes second nature. Most people, when given the opening, respond with relief rather than judgment. They were often feeling the same pressure, just waiting for someone to break the social ice. The big picture. What loud budgeting tells us about the economy. The viral spread of loud budgeting is more than just a lifestyle story. It's an economic indicator. When young adults in one of the world's wealthiest countries find it culturally resonant to celebrate financial restraint, it tells us something about the actual state of household finances. Unemployment may be low, but the quality of that employment, the stability, the benefits, and the real wage trajectory matters enormously. Loud budgeting is a response to the gap between the macroeconomic narrative of resilience and the microeconomic reality of tight household budgets. For businesses, the implications are massive. Companies in the consumer discretionary, hospitality, and luxury sectors need to pay attention. The generation that was supposed to be the next great wave of luxury consumption is signaling that they'd rather be financially stable than brand-aligned. This isn't just a passing trend. It reflects a fundamental reassessment of value. Conclusion. Saying, "I can't afford that," is the new power move. At its core, loud budgeting is a simple idea. Say what you mean about your money. But simple ideas can be revolutionary when they challenge deep-seated norms. The norm that loud budgeting challenges, the expectation of financial performance and the shame of financial limits, has caused incalculable harm to the mental health and well-being of millions. Whether you call it loud budgeting, intentional spending, or just being honest, the outcome is the same. You spend where it truly matters to you. You save more. You carry less stress. And you stop outsourcing your financial decisions to the approval of social media feeds. In a world that has spent the last decade telling you that happiness is something you buy, choosing to budget your way to freedom might just be the most radical financial act you can perform. If you enjoyed this look into the new world of finance, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're taking control of your budget in 2026. And of course, Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on the trends shaping our world.